or if we aren't learning from Christ, we can't invite others into that process. Hello Grace family, and welcome back to our midweek check-in. Looking back at last Sunday, we had a recap of level 3. Level 3 is invite them alongside you to learn from Christ together. And so meeting here in the middle of our week together, I kind of wanted to build off of that a little bit, read a simple verse and just expand on that, maybe just give us some more ideas as to how we can best be living that out. So for this week, we are going to be reading 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1. It's so simple, but it builds off of our big idea last week. We talked about the idea that if we aren't learning from Christ together, or if we aren't learning from Christ, we can't invite others into that process. So there can't be a together, there can't be inviting others in if we aren't already doing it. So this is 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1, and it simply says, "Be imitators of me as I am of Christ." And so I think that kind of recaps level 3, maybe in its simplest terms. There's just this whole idea of I'm learning from Christ, I've got that rhythm established in my life, and I want you to come alongside me so that we can learn from Him together. And that's how verse 1 of chapter 11 puts it. Just be imitators of me as I am imitating Christ. And so if we back up actually a verse or two there, how do we do that? How do we live that out? In chapter 10 and verse 31, it says, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." And it reminded me, a couple of weeks ago we talked about there was a picture of a wheel, and at the center of it, as a disciple of Christ, at the very center of our life, it should be Jesus. And then everything we do, work, family, friends, hobbies, whatever it is, should be an outpouring of Jesus at the very core of who we are. So when we're talking about being imitators of Christ and say, hey, follow me as I follow Christ, say, I'm inviting you to learn from Christ with me, what we can do is we just look at those rhythms that are already established in our life. Okay, here's how my life at work is centered off Christ. Maybe I pray before lunch, or maybe I read my Bible when I get into the office, and we just simply invite people into that. Hey, how can I pray for you? I'm about to pray for my lunch. How can I pray for you today? Or maybe it's just an explanation of, one of my weekly rhythms is going to church on Sunday. How would you like to come along with me and we can learn more about who Christ is? Or maybe you're an active person and you're always walking your neighborhood. Maybe there's an opportunity to be prayer walking as you do that. And if you see a neighbor or a friend out, you can just simply say, hey, I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm praying right now. Is there a way I can pray for you? I think there are endless amounts of ways. If our life is centered on Christ and He's showcasing Himself in every area of our life, once that's established, we simply say, hey, come alongside me. Let's learn from Christ together. Let's follow Him together. Follow me as I follow Christ. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more that you can think through and apply as we have finished level 3. And so looking ahead at this next Sunday, we get to start level 4, and I just want to invite you into praying through that. I think level 4 is massive because most churches stop at level 3. And level 4 and level 5 are kind of just left floating out there without any intentionality. So I just want to invite you to be praying about that. I'm going to share more about it live on the spot Sunday morning, so I'm not going to give a huge preview here, but be praying for that because this is a massive point for us to be able to apply and live out in being a church that is making disciples who make disciples. So have a fantastic rest of your week. Invite people into the rhythms where you're already following Jesus, and we'll look forward to seeing you here Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Thanks, church.